This
My
meeting
name
is
is
being
Ernest
recorded.
Lamar. I'm a reporter for the Southland Journal.
Hello, and I'm Jim Gleffe, and I'm a candidate for Circuit Court Judge in the 15th Judicial Subcircuit of Cook County.
Well, Jim, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Can you talk a little bit about your overall career?
Sure. Yes, I've been an attorney now for 15 years. I've been in public service my entire career. I got my start with the City of Chicago's Law Department. I was handling traffic and municipal violation cases. And when I was there, that was my first exposure to actually practicing law. And when I was there, it actually opened my eyes because I saw that many people involved in the legal system are not there voluntarily. And the cases that they're involved in could bring a tremendous amount of stress and anxiety to their lives, which is why I think that judges need empathy and need to be able to understand the problems that people face on a day-to-day basis. But from there, I went to work for Secretary of State Jesse White's office in his securities department. My role there was we prosecuted financial criminals that took advantage of seniors and put families in investments that weren't appropriate for their situation. We initiated cases against him and were able, in many cases, to get restitution for those families. So that was a very rewarding part of my career. I did a brief stint with the City of Chicago when I was with Susana Mendoza's office when she was city clerk. And after that, I became the chief legal counsel for our Cook County clerk, but back then it was the recorder of deeds, Karen Yarborough. After, I stayed in that position for a while. Then, as you know, the two offices, the recorder of deeds and the clerk's office, combined in a assumption of duties. So the clerk became the clerk. I stayed behind for 2 years to serve as chief of staff for the recorder of deeds to make sure that the two offices merge appropriately and everything stays running on full cylinder with the recorder of deeds office. And now that the two offices came together, I serve as their deputy chief of staff and labor counsel in the Cook County Clerk's office. And in this role, I work with organized labor on a day-to-day basis, going through union negotiations, resolving grievances, dealing with just issues going on in the office. And our main goal is to make sure that our employees are able to work in a safe and healthy environment, make sure that people get equal pay for equal work. And, we had a pandemic and it's still here. It's not gone. And one of the most important things that we needed to do is make sure that, the health, safety, and well-being of our employees and our customers were accounted for. And I'm happy to say, I think we did a very good job of implementing different things to make sure that happens. We allowed some of our staff to be able to record from home for the first time in history. And I'm proud of the work that we've done.
And what are some of the reasons why you decided this was the right time to run for elected office?
Well, I think there's just too much politics creeping into our court system right now. We're seeing it every day in the news. We've seen it with the leak of the Supreme Court opinion regarding Roe v. Wade. We've seen it with some of the relatives of Supreme Court justices participating in trying to overturn the government in January the 6th. And I think we just need some new judges that are committed to doing what judges are actually supposed to be doing, which is, hearing cases, following the law, respecting established precedent, treating people fairly, and of course, listening to the stories that people tell when they come into court. I've been knocking door to door throughout the district for several months now, and one of the biggest issues that people raise to me is that they don't feel like they get a fair shake when they come into court. They feel like in many instances, the judge may have already made up their mind before they even step up to the bench. So that really undermines the confidence in the court system. I think we need a judge that's going to reverse that trend, give people the confidence that the court system is actually working for them and working for our communities.
And you mentioned a few things, but just overall, what are some of just the essential platforms or just ideas that you have that you think is important for voters to know about?
I think the most important, this is a judicial race, so we're not talking about, necessarily policy, differences. But one thing I think that a judge brings to the table is the perspective that they have. And that is based on, their personal life experience, their professional experience, as well as their experiences in the community. And I've already talked a little bit about my professional experience. Personally, I'm the first person in my family to go to college. I grew up on the southwest side of Chicago to a working class union family. Um, you know, I know what it's like to deal with the problems that most families go through on a day-to-day basis. And I think it's important that we have people on the bench that understand what people generally go through. And a good example. I mean, we could see something of it. We talk about the big cases and the big things that we hear in the news, but there's also many little things that don't generally get discussed that are great examples of how a judge can impact, someone's life and someone's career. Um, let's just take a simple matter of parking tickets or traffic tickets that go unpaid over the years for whatever the reason being. Those things can result in a suspended license, and now you end up arrested. You end up before a judge, and the judge has a decision to make. Are they what is going to be their tact when they hear that case? So the person before them can say, "Hey, I'm prepared to pay these tickets, get this moved on, and get my license back. I just got a job. I'm ready to do that and move on with my life in a positive way." Or you can just say, you violated the law. Technically, we have to do what we're going to do. Your license is going to be suspended indefinitely. The fines go up. You're looking at potential jail time for something that was started with parking tickets. And that's just really two different ways that a case could go. You could give someone a chance to clear up the minor issues that they're dealing with and allow them to move on with their life, take care of their family, go to work every day, driving to work to and from, because a lot of times if you don't have a license, you can't get to work. Or are you going to be, kind of blind to the situation and just say, well, the law says this, and this is the result, and I don't really, it doesn't really matter to me what the other circumstances are. And so for me, I'm someone who, looks at the totality of the circumstances, because I see in my daily life that there's good people out there that are put in situations that are difficult. They're trying to, put food on the table for their families. They're trying to make sure their family has, the health care that they need. And sometimes, paying a $50 ticket or $100 ticket isn't on the first and foremost of their mind. So, mistakes happen, and we have to make sure that the end result is, and the same level of what ends up, what is the cause of why the person is in court. So that's one of the main things that I think is overall just having a perspective where you understand what people face on a day-to-day basis, having empathy and compassion for those situations, and making sure that justice is served. Because I know in our Pledge of Allegiance we say and justice for all, but for many years that's not been the case for a lot of people. So we want to make sure that justice for all is not just a phrase of hollow words, but something that is meaningful to the people that come into the courts.
And is there anything else you'd like to add that maybe I didn't ask?
All I would say is, over the past couple of months, we've been going door to door all throughout the district, from Lamont to Homewood, Flossmoor, Orland Park to Oak Forest, Midlothian, from Matson to Palos. And I really enjoyed meeting the residents of the district. I have been a career public servant, and I do want to continue that public service on the bench, because I do think that I would serve as a voice for our communities and someone that understands the problems that people face. And I would like to humbly ask for your support in the upcoming election.
Well, once again, thank you very much for taking some of your time.
Thank you very much for having me.